Hello world of YouTube and welcome to another episode of ARC, the show where I get to be an asshole reviewing comics, and I figured I would start this run I'm doing in 2022 by covering a subject that I've been wanting to do for a bit, and that's a music-related episode of this show, because you guys know I'm the music guy, I talk about music a lot, and I figured while I was doing this Wu-Tang celebration month I'm calling Woo-Brewery, I figured I would check off a bucket list item and buy a comic book that I've been wanting to have for a long time. It is the comic 12 Reasons to Die, which has a story conceptualized by Ghostface Killah and Adrian Younge, with the RZA seemingly also giving art direction and production to it. Having all these artists come together and write a comic that tells the story not only of Tony Stark's and his war with the DeLucas that happens in the album, but also tell a tangential story that involves this kid collecting records for a member of the DeLucas years later. It's two different stories that run in tandem with each other, but have this great melding of this sort of mob story with this horror ghost story. And I think that the marriage comes together incredibly well. And I will say the record itself is a great companion to the comic. I was reading the comic while listening to the instrumentals on the album, and it just creates a mood that is really fun to sit in. You know, I think that the art, while very unique across each chapter because the artist has their own personality, they also fall under the same umbrella incredibly well. You know, a lot of the gore is well showcased. A lot of the visuals just have this striking look to them. I think the Ghostface Killah stuff is great. I really love some of the fight scenes in here. There's a fight scene in one of the chapters between one of the DeLucas and the ghost of the Ghostface Killah, and it's a great sequence. You know, anytime that the records are played, the Ghostface Killah records are played, there's just a beautifully drawn, chaotic mess. I think that this album has a lot of personality. You can tell Ghostface did really put a lot of heart into the character of Tony Stark's in this comic. You know, from a dialogue perspective, it feels like something he would write. A lot of the stuff that the album talks about feels well represented in here. It's a great marriage of the art forms, you know, but I really enjoyed this comic. You know, I think that it's really cool. I think that there's a nice twist in the end as well. There's a couple of good moments of betrayal in this story that I think come across great, you know, and I appreciated reading this comic. I appreciated buying this comic. I feel like if you are a fan of the Wu-Tang Clan and you like Ghostface Killah, you like a lot of what he's done, there's a lot of stuff to enjoy from here. I feel like if you enjoy horror adjacent comics, you'll like a lot of the imagery in this. You know, there's some really well constructed deaths in this movie, you know, and I think that it's great. When reading the comic and reaching the end of a chapter, having songs change at the same time or around the same time helped soundtrack the experience in a way that felt fitting, in a way that I feel like Ghostface and Adrian Younge and the RZA really wanted to embody. So I feel like there is a pace to the album versus the comic that I think suit each other incredibly well. This is a great comic with a great album attached to it. You know, I feel like 12 Reasons to Die might be, as of right now, Ghostface's last truly great album. And it's been a while since it's been out, you know. Ghostface and Adrian Younge's production works so well together, and it does what I think really good Wu-Tang records do, is feel like a piece of the Wu-Tang ephemera while embodying the solo artist spirit so very well. Adrian Younge's production style almost lends to the haunted nature of it. The organ sounds, a lot of the piano stuff that's here, fits the Wu-Tang style, but again, puts it in a completely different spirit. And Ghostface channels that so well, as do the features on here. And that's the other thing that kind of lends it to feeling like a nice slice of Wu-Tang ephemera, is that a lot of the features on here, they're friends or members of the Wu-Tang Clan themselves. I think Blood on the Cobblestones might have one of my favorite You-God features that he's ever done. You know, I think it's cool to see Master Killah crop up a couple of times in here. Murder Spree is a great posse cut. I feel like the use of like these background singers lend to the sort of B-movie style that the comic I feel like does go for sometimes with its action. the stuff with Ghostface in shootouts, lends itself to the B-movie style. A lot of the fantastical deaths that I've showcased lend themselves to the B-movie style that the album kind of goes for. And when reading it while listening to the instrumentals, it helped evoke that feeling, But the album itself more just adds flavor text to those sequences or to the overall tone, when the RZA comes in and talks about the legend of the Ghostface Killah and how he will return. It helps cement the reader into the world as well. Again, they're a great sort of marriage of art, of the arts in a great fashion. But I really enjoyed this, even though it has a Jimmy Fallon quote attributed on the front of it, which, take it or leave it. The comic itself really is a lot of fun. It's a fun-ass comic that has just a lot of good art. And I feel like if you appreciate comic books and you want a good, just graphic, violent, again, B-movie style comic to read 12 Reasons to Die. It was a really good time. And listen to the album, because, again, it, at least as of right now, feels like Ghostface's last truly great record. Even the sequel he made to this, I don't think was nearly as good as 12 Reasons to Die. It was just a gem when it came out. It's a gem now. It's a tight record. It's in and it's out. And it's a record that when it came out did have a lot of positive reception. I don't know if people still look upon this album as fondly as they did, but I still do. It's a record that I do revisit from time to time because I love the tone. I really like the tone of the album. And it was on my album of the year list when it came out in 2013. I don't know if my opinions changed on it as far as like would it end up where it was, but it's still a quality release from that year that I don't think should be lost to time. It's a cool album, and it is a really dope comic. But those are my thoughts on 12 Reasons to Die. Have you read this? Have you listened to the album? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked this hybrid arc album reflection discussion episode, let me know in the comments down below. If you did like it, be sure to give it a like. If you want to see more of my music, gaming, and general nerdary content, be sure to subscribe. Special thanks to my patrons if you want to join the ranks to get early access to content, exclusive content, or to help drive the community. It's linked in the description. I'm going to get out of here, though. Thank you again so very much for watching. I've been Viral Rack. You guys have good days, lives, and situations, and I'll see you another day. You